Hi, friends. In our time together today, I'm introducing the reel, the Maid Behind the Bar, for us to play on our low and high D whistles. This is a great, fun, very popular reel to play, and we'll follow the usual pattern. I'll walk us through the tune. It has an A part and a B part, and I'll walk us very slowly through each phrase of the A part, just once through, and then the B part. And then I'll share the play along with Scott's section where I play the entire tune without ornamentation so that you get a real feel of the core of the tune. After that, we'll talk about challenges I think you'll experience. I'll share some ornamentation and expression ideas, and we'll chat about the history of the tune. And I'm sticking a link at the top of the notes to this video to the page on my website from which you could download the music and tabs for this really fun reel to play. Now, in a couple of days, I'll share a practice session where I'm playing through and learning the tune a little better, because that's important for us to experience as well. Now, this tune is very popularly known as the Maid Behind the Bar, but it goes by a wide variety of other names. One really popular ancient name for it, I say ancient because it's a long time ago, is Judy's reel. Also, an old name for the tune is the Green Mountain reel. So those are good. And we'll get into some of that a little bit in the history. But it's a beautiful, fun tune. So let me walk us through the A part. There's an A part that repeats, a B part that repeats. Now, with the setting that I'm sharing, there are, a lot of these uber popular tunes have as many settings as there are places that the tune is played. And so it's difficult to find the core of the tune, but I settled on one of the more popular settings I could find that is shared by a lot of a lot of primary trad music providers. So that's how I chose that. And I listened to a bunch of people, and this seemed like what a lot of folks were playing. So here is the A part broken into phrases. All right, that's the A part. And you'll see a certain amount of repetition in there, which will make it a little easier to remember. I'll walk us through the B part now. All right. Now, the idea of playing very slowly through the A part and the B part is so that you could watch me as many times as you need to with whistle in hand to be able to play through those phrases with me. Even if you've downloaded the music and tabs and you use those, it's still good to do that with me, because that steady, slow, play it, I'd go through that a time or two, is really going to help ingrain this tune into your brain, so that when you get to the play along with Scott section, come through the whole video and then go back and do some of this. That's why I put chapters in, so that you can bounce around and then come and play along with me, to make sure that you've got the tune down okay. And now in the play along with Scott section, I'll play through the Maid Behind the Bar at a steady to moderate pace without ornamentation, so that you could really hear and play with me in the core of the tune. And I forgot to say, I'm using my Howard low D with the balanced head for our time together today. And I'll stick a link in the notes to this video to where you could find a Howard. All right, that is the whole tune. Thinking through some possible difficulties as we play this tune, we'd all play a reel very well and easily if we played a reel at that pace. So the challenge is working up to the speed, and that's going to be the focus of my practice session, is me learning the tune better and trying to get to the point where I can start ornamenting it and playing it at pace. Just a couple of days, hang on to that. But, so it's a challenge to learn to play this quite quickly. One thing that's good to do, though, is to just break it into pieces and begin working on those pieces. Please join me in my practice session in a couple of days. Another challenge is, I often say, get a whistle. Maybe you need to learn to play the top notes, but you're going to have to play them. This hits that second octave B quite frequently. And so a little hint on that, if you need a hint on that, as you get into the upper notes, increase your breath pressure a little. We've talked about this some, but I just want to remind folks who are maybe new. Increase your breath pressure some as you get in there and listen for good tone. And maybe even focus your airway a little more. Not so broad as you do for the mellowed low notes, but focused a little bit more the stream of air and push it a little harder. And that will help. And yeah, you might play it a little louder. That's okay. Search for that tone. Search for the right breath pressure that's required there. And again, the biggest challenge you're going to face, apart from those higher notes, is the jumping around of the notes at pace. And that's why I'm going to focus on that in my practice session. From an ornamentation and expression, this is a brilliant, very popular dance tune. And it's also a popular session group tune that people like to play together. And so you're going to do a lot of dancey fun things. You've got repeated notes. You can do fun stuff with. Just throw a cut in on that. Remember, don't use a cut every time. Throw some taps in. Maybe throw a roll in on some of them to change it up some. So you've got that on the repeats. And then as you're coming to step down, you might want to do one of those slap taps where you're hitting, instead of going from the, well, instead of going, just leaving that A alone, hit, as soon as you hit the A, hit the bounce off the G. And give it a little add there and use some of the ornaments like that. And when you hit a higher note, you might even want to slide up to a little bit. So just a really fast slide there. And don't forget to ornament the downward stuff as well. And the transcription I'm providing doesn't have alternate first and second repeats. And you can add in, like, I've got it each ending on. And if you want to add a little walk-in, like on the first repeat. Okay, you could do that kind of thing. So, think of different things you could do. It's important for us to begin learning to applying our own thoughts with ornamentation and expression. But again, like I've said frequently, and I'll say again, I'll probably never quit saying, listen to groups playing this. There are some great, fun. Try and spend more time listening to folks you can watch play. Hopefully they've got a whistler in there and you can see what that person's doing. And that adds a lot of fun. Whenever you're hitting one of the high B's, like in that second bit, if it's hard, then to hit the B, then remember you can always ornament up to it. And there, if you have to get repetitive, that's okay. Or you could bounce off of it. Do almost like a single beat trill, just to bounce it, and that might help hit it for you. It's just a little trick to pull off some of those higher notes sometimes. Let's think through the history of this amazingly popular tune. This reel first appeared in print in 1883 with the name Judy's reel. O'Neill then included it in his Music of Ireland collection from 1903 with the name The Green Mountain. Remember, these dates, 1883, 1903, and the fact that these had different names and were collected in different parts of Ireland means that by 1883, by 1903, this was already a phenomenally popular tune, so popular that it had taken up residence in different parts of Ireland and had received different names. So really, we don't know tons of earlier origins than that, and no lyrics associated with it that are stuck from that age period. So that means it's really old. It's really popular. But this tune was also popular in the 1850s in the United States. And that means, because the tune came with Irish immigrants who came in waves before that, and so they brought music with them. So that means that this tune was popular well before 1850 in Ireland, so popular that the earliest immigrants even brought it with them, so that it was already spreading across the then United States in 1850. So, this is probably an 18th century tune, if anything. At least it seems that way. So, again, there are multiple versions of the tune. They're all really fun. And I hope that I've boiled it down to some core of the tune so that if you're playing with others, that you'll at least have the core of the tune so that you can then catch up with the way they're playing it then. My friends, I hope you enjoy playing the Maid Behind the Bar. If you've enjoyed the video, please like it, and that helps YouTube promote our channel. If you're brand new and just checking us out, I'd love for you to subscribe. It'd be wonderful to have you join this great community of folks who are learning to play the whistle together. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling, my friends.